Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Royal Room Rumble for today. And we're going into Amy Newman's room. It was a topic about the Abrahamic God. So she was inviting people to come in and prove the Abrahamic God or make arguments for the Abrahamic God. And when I passed by and started to listen to whoever was in there, we had a truly repugnant person called SeaScience Film Labs or SeaScience in there, making sort of these weird claims about evolution, which you might ask, what has evolution got to do with the Abrahamic God? Absolutely nothing. So what I did is I dropped in and sort of listened for a while and saw just some of the most horrible behavior you could possibly imagine for these arguments. And it sort of made me think about the type of person that they don't actually want to come on to a show and have a conversation. They don't want to go and discuss what the actual topic is. They don't have the arguments necessary to sort of say, hey, yeah, I can defend the Abrahamic God. I'll go on and talk about the Abrahamic God. So it's more a shifting of the burden of proof to sort of evolution or Big Bang or whatever they can find, and then behaving in such a way that nobody can talk or discuss any topic. And you'll see what I mean when we go through this. It's kind of very obvious after just watching it for a few minutes that SeaScience was basically just trolling in a way to stop any discussion you can have. It's a bit like when presuppositionalists make these really horrible conversations and you can't, nothing is really being discussed. It's just one side being really obnoxious to stop all conversation. So I might go through some examples of what I mean, and you can see for yourself just how obnoxious and how unwilling to have a good faith conversation this particular person was. So when I first joined, this is what he did.
There's a little bit of interpretation, sure.
Sure. Hey, it's Mark Reid. Good day, mate.
What's up, Mark?
Mark Reid. Mark Reid, come on and talk about evolution theory with me, mate.
Victoria, cat down the road.
Let's throw another shrimp on the Barbie, eh?
And listen,
let's get into it.
I know we.
A good friend of mine, Beamsy, came on to discuss things and address the rather grandiose demand he had of beneficial mutations. This is the kind of thing he was doing to him. And you can see that he will interrupt so that Beamsy can't really get to explain what he means by things.
Oh, fine, but SeaScience, if you want a good indication of a very good mutation, there's a family in Italy with the surname of Bao in the village of Storetto.
Are you talking about the kids that are unmovable because they have mental handicaps, because they can't get off their feet, and you think that that's a positive?
And indeed, he even interrupted the hosts and didn't let them talk. In this particular example, he says he'll go away to find something. He'll check on something that Grayson said. But of course, he isn't checking at all. He isn't interested in what the facts are about the conversation. He's just waiting to jump in as he does like this.
So you see what he just offered there is, we like to call that a good old-fashioned argument from incredulity. And he pairs that.
Well, here's the thing. It's not because I'm actually stating that the beneficial mutations that you guys have stated do not sufficiently explain what we see today.
Because that's not what you asked for.
It's my educated opinion. Yes, you're absolutely right. It's my educated opinion.
But SeaScience, what you asked for was just an example of a beneficial mutation. You didn't ask, what is every beneficial mutation that is necessary to get from a single cell ancestor to here?
First of all, you guys. First of all, Grayson. Newman brought up the idea of beneficial mutations, not me, because I don't ever use it.
So SeaScience was constantly doing that kind of thing, and sort of this is just only a small sliver of the constant interruptions and the filibustering, basically just filling the room with sound so nobody else can speak. This is one of his logical fallacies that he committed all the way through. This was shifting the goalposts, because he claimed that there was no beneficial mutations, and then he was provided beneficial mutations, and then he sort of said, hey, no, I wasn't asking for that, I was asking for all these things. So he's clearly shifting the goalposts all the way through, acting bad faith all the way through. He also sort of went to, and this was earlier, Steelman, and this is the weirdest thing. His idea of a Steelman is absolutely baffling. He sort of did this in a way that, you know, he was obviously making a straw man. And I want you to listen at the very end, because he actually has a Freudian slip and says that he was straw manning for correcting himself and saying, oh, I was steel manning. He mentioned that we've got all these problems, went to abiogenesis. He really did a terrible job of a steel man, probably. But I want this to sort of show you that he had no interest in being a good faith interlocutor. It wasn't on the agenda at all. He really just wanted to shut up the atheists, because I can't argue with them in good faith, so I'll just be bad faith. Let's troll for Jesus. So here's him and his idea of a steel man.
Single-celled organism that evolved into some multicellular organism. We don't know what that looked like either, because we don't have that. But what we do have is in the deepest layers, the Archean layers, in the most supposed. Well, can I hang on? What? I'm sorry. It's your show. I'm sorry.
Yes, but you're also not doing a steel man. You're doing a straw man. You're straw manning us as hard as you can. Which is why
not really, because I'm accurately depicting your theory, your system of beliefs, and I'm going to throw a wrench in there, and I'm going to show you why it's wrong. That's what a strong man is.
So now I go to my turn to come on comes, and so I'm going to give you the whole recording of that. The question is it basically what I did was use the same thing he was doing, but I probably have a lot better command of tone and enforcement to sort of fill the room with noise. And I think, is that right? Is that a good thing to do? Should we stoop to their level? Probably not. You know, it was just, I guess I just went, well, maybe if he gets a taste of his own medicine, he'll realize that what he's doing is really bad, like really shockingly bad, not having a good faith conversation, hearing from the other side. Will that change his mind? Probably not. Probably not. Did the people in the chat find it entertaining? Absolutely. They were very happy with what I did. I don't know. I guess it was just one of those spur of the moment things, jump in and, you know, do the same thing that somebody else is doing and see, you know, how you would feel if somebody did it. Of course, he didn't really get the idea. And sort of, I addressed this at the end when I had my time to talk, and he still couldn't let me talk because somebody with no arguments and, you know, no proof, no evidence, and no way to demonstrate what they claim, they don't like people talking. Because if they talk, unfortunately, they've got nothing to present. So, let's get ready to rumble.
Be there in the.
She's got a bone for you.
I hope you guys will be there in the chat, though.
Trust me, I'm expecting the very specific.
Isn't that Mark Reid?
That is Mark Reid.
Hey,
hello.
Time on the clock.
Thanks for
okay, beautiful.
Back up.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here. And hello, SeaSalt. How are you doing? And James, always good to see you. A lot of SeaSalt going around in this chat.
You sound kind of salty.
So the first thing I wanted to sort of outline was that some of the tactics used here, basically what's happening is that SeaScience is essentially just filling the air with noise, like so nobody can talk, nobody can have a discussion, just filling it with noise. But I wanted to come in and sort of just proffer some things that are beneficial mutations, you know, apart from what Grayson offered, which is certainly a beneficial mutation. The one that I actually love is nyelinase, because nyelinase is basically an enzyme which we only found in a output waste from a nylon factory. So this couldn't possibly have been part of the DNA in the previous to it actually mutating the ability to break down nylon, or the waste of nylon. It's sort of nylon 6. So another one that I do want to point to, because I'll just give a couple or maybe a few here, depending on how much time I've got, is almond seeds. Like, we found a mutated almond seed that didn't have so much amygdalin, I think it is. It's the
I think you said it right.
Cyanide. It's a chemical that converts into cyanide inside the human body. So we found like wild almonds that basically found without this, so much of this, it's a mutation. So we can actually use it. It isn't so bitter, and that's where we get sort of the almonds that we eat from. I mean, as a third example, just to round out the third one that I would point to is sort of the mutations of bacteria, that essentially bacteria gets more and more resistant to antibacterial properties, and then, more and more resistance because they do mutate these resistances to the antibacterials. So those are probably the three that I would send out there. But I do notice, and Grayson noticed as well, that none of this is about the Abrahamic God. So I wanted to pose you the question, SeaSalty. Why are you so afraid to actually talk about the topic? Are you ashamed of your God, or, are you afraid to talk about your God?
Oh, snap.
Oh, and there he goes, slapping around. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. Now listen, Mark, I know you want to slap. I know you like to slap. But what it really is I think it's more important to talk about the atheism versus creationism debate. And I only got in here tonight, so I want to holler at you. Here's the thing. The identity of God. Here, no, Mark. The identity of God.
Okay. I can talk about that. It's just not the topic.
I'll talk about your stuff in just a second.
So you are afraid to talk about
the Abrahamic God. Now, hang on now.
So you are afraid to talk about your God.
Mark.
Because the thing is, even if you talk about creationism, it's not the Abrahamic God, because any God could have done the creationism, and it wouldn't be the Abrahamic God. So the Abrahamic God has a unique origin in sort of a pantheon of sort of the Abrahamic peoples. I'm sure Pat or Dr. Josh could tell you all about that, but you don't want to discuss Yahweh, that particular God of the Israelites that was part of the pantheon.
I don't think it's necessary. I think you misunderstand, Mark. No, I think you're misunderstanding.
Well, why are you afraid of that? Why are you afraid of that?
No, let me help you understand, Mark.
No, why are you afraid of that? Are you afraid to talk about Yahweh?
I understand right now.
Why not talk about Yahweh?
No, let me talk about you. Let me talk about the identity of God.
Talk about Yahweh. I want to hear about Yahweh. Who wants to hear about Yahweh? Can we get a quick poll? Quick poll. Who wants to hear about Yahweh? Go for it, Yahweh.
Listen to this guy cry.
Yeah, Yahweh, 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 Yahweh.
We can do it.
Woohoo!
You are Arsenio Hall.
Oh, I know, right?
Listen to me go. Hey, Mark Reid, how's Australia treating you, buddy?
Yeah, it's good, mate.
That's good, mate. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
So do you think the identity of God?
Oh, mate, shocker.
No, hang on. Let me tell you something.
That's terrible.
Do you think
your Australian accent is just as good as my American accent? I'll put it that way. Like, that's shocking. That's terrible.
Oh, good day, mate.
That's terrible.
Good day, mate. Let's get on. Let's go out back and ride the kangaroos around.
I'm not trying to steal, man. I'm trying to make it a terrible accent.
No, let me tell you something about. Let me tell you something about God. Let me tell you something.
Yahweh.
The identity of God. No, let me tell you something. The identity of God does not
I want to talk about Yahweh.
The identity of God doesn't matter to the creation versus evolution or the creation versus atheism debate.
Yeah,
because
that's not the topic at the moment.
Do you agree that you can argue creation and atheism without ever identifying
God? Are you scared to talk about Yahweh?
Do you deny? Do you? No, I'm not.
I
just want to ask you a simple question.
You don't want to talk about Yahweh?
Before you get off,
before you get off,
you don't want me to talk about your beneficial mutations.
Someone doesn't want to talk about
I know you don't want me to talk
Yahweh.
about your beneficial mutations that you brought and stuff, but we'll get to that. But let me talk
you are
about
so embarrassed about Yahweh. Why are you embarrassed about it?
Not, Mark. Why are you trying to project your own things onto me? Like it sounds like you're the one that's uncomfortable about Yahweh.
Yahweh's a
like it
storm
sounds to me
god,
like you're trying to project your own subconscious fears onto me about Yahweh.
He basically
now,
was a Paleo-Hebrew god.
To me about God,
was in a pantheon against many Canaanite gods and goddesses.
That a creator exists.
Now
you can prove that a creator exists without believing in the identity of God. You can believe in God and believe in evolution. You can believe in God and believe in abiogenesis. You can be a creationist and believe in evolution and abiogenesis.
Okay.
So. The identity of God is not necessary to the atheism.
But this is about the Abrahamic God, which is Yahweh. So there was a whole bunch of Canaanite gods and goddesses. So let's start with El. El was the leader of the pantheon, the leader of the pantheon. And El basically was the father of Yahweh. He was married to a consort that was called Asherah. And part of the pantheon was Yahweh's brother Baal. Now, Baal and Asherah were absorbed into the Yahwehist religion. They kind of
this guy might talk over everyone that's ever tried to
and then basically got subsumed to the Yahweh identity. So in fact, Yahweh is not only a guy god, he's actually a goddess as well, Asherah, who got incorporated into him. So that's the origin that sort of SeaScience is afraid of. That he doesn't want to talk about this. It's embarrassing for him. So he just wants to fill the air with sound. No one can talk. No one can actually discuss anything.
Yeah, Mark.
And then just basically just make it sound. Because when you don't have any good arguments and all you can do is bleat about how bad things are. Okay, sorry, Amy. Just thought I would do exactly the same that SeaSalty here is doing.
Yo, your mom called, yo.
It's a work.
Wow, how old are you?
It's good talking to you, Reid. Yo,
my mum's dead, so that would be quite the is my mum Jesus? Is my mum Jesus? My mum rose from the dead. It's the second coming of Christ.
Here he goes.
The second coming of Christ.
We've touched all these soft spots here.
Are you going to worship my mum? Is that what you're going to do? Please worship
the crazy things you end up saying when I talk to you is exactly why I talk to you.
Well, she wasn't crucified, but nobody said that Jesus would be crucified the second time round. That wasn't a thing,
bro. What did you ask me? What you asked me again? Just like
negative.
Listen, the last time I was on here, the guy tried to get me to apologize to him twice, so I basically told him to go get it off the roof. That's what that dude did. He's like, I apologize to him. He's like, I don't think he really means it. I'm like, you want to do it like we used to do back in the schoolyard, bro.
You
want to do it like
exactly
when he insulted Peter's recently departed mother. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's so Christian of you, dude. Like that's exactly what we expect from the Christians. Exactly what we expect. This is the level. This is the level that you expect from the Christians.
We know they have that objective morality.
I know.
That's what's real.
We don't have that objective basis for our morality.
At least Grayson has the decency to have a little
salty, upset little boy going, "Oh,
One minute.
You
I'm sorry. God. I'm not the one asking crazy questions about your mom, so you're the one bringing up your mom."
The kids at school said mean things.
Oh, I brought up your mum as well. Don't worry about that.
Did the kids at school say mean things about Yahweh? Their God's is bigger than your God. Our God can beat your God up.
No. You guys missed what I said.
SeaScience just goes into rooms and he's so salty that people don't believe him. So upset that people don't believe him. He gets this, well, I'm going to insult them too because they insulted my God. And like he pretends like he's let's just have fun. And he's so upset. Like he's so upset. It's hilarious.
Okay, anyway. He's trying to project his own. He's trying to project his own emotional, like his own emotional feelings onto me right now. That's what's happening.
But do you notice that he hasn't addressed anything?
It's a psychological defense mechanism It's very common.
You haven't addressed
But
anything so far. All you've done is talk.
The identity of God, Yahweh. It doesn't really matter.
Do you notice that I've brought up things about the Abrahamic God? I brought up things about the Abrahamic God, like where the origin was, the actual history behind it, the actual pantheon that it came from, who the consort was that was subsumed into the Yahweh identity. SeaScience has got nothing to say. Nothing to say. He hasn't even said anything about evolution. All he does is just sit there and yap. It's sad.
No.
Yeah, it's sad, man.
No, that's because you're not listening, Mark, because we've been talking about evolution this whole time. That's what this has been about. And we were just saying how we need to talk about something else.
I can read the title of the show, SeaScience. Just because you're dense and don't understand the topic, it's not my fault. Like, seriously.
You just defeat yourself, You're a self-defeating dude.
That's okay. Mark,
self-defeating. I do beat myself up occasionally. I must admit.
Sounds
self-defeating dude. Yes.
Now listen to this.
I love it when they call me dude. It's awesome. I love it. No, call me dude again. It makes me hard. Go on.
Let me just call me dude. One thing out, man. Let me just
No. Call me dude. I love that. I love it. It just makes me so good.
We'll get it on tape and we'll record it, and you can make a soundboard of it.
Look. I mean, two things I love. One thing is them calling me dude. The other is calling me bro. If you want to call me bro as well, I know that you've just got so much salt petering up in that little throat of yours.
Listen,
yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's when you know that they're just so upset. Listen, bro. Yeah, I love it. Love it.
I'm so upset that you guys. You can't let me get a sentence out.
Oh yeah, I'm weeping over here, mate. I'm just despondent over here.
Yeah, try and talk to you about the three beneficial mutations you brought up. Let's talk about nylon A's. Yeah, nylon A's. Would you believe that I just started eating real maple syrup instead of the fake corn syrup? Oh, no. Would you believe that if I started eating another thing, it doesn't really matter?
He invented the latest version.
That's the worst analogy I've ever heard in my life. So this is if you were incapable of eating something else, and then suddenly your biology changed so you could, and your genetic code changed so you could. So that is like the worst analogy I've ever heard in my life, because that bacteria, that bacteria was unable to eat nylon before that, whereas you are able to eat the other thing. So that is a terrible analogy.
Do you like New Zealanders, Mark Reid? Do you like New Zealanders?
Some of them. I mean, it depends who you're talking about.
Escape to that question.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Ray Comfort, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I know. See, Science is just afraid of the topic. He just doesn't want to go to the topic. He's just scared. No, it's okay, Bobby. It's okay, Bobby. It's all right, buddy. It's okay. Oh, they're there.
No, listen, guys.
Oh, I don't.
No.
All right, I'll give my minute at the
end.
What's
going to happen is we are going to we're going to let Mark say like a final thing. We're going to switch into site. We're bringing in another Christian for SeaScience to talk to, and then after that version of 10 minutes, we're going to let SeaScience have his final. He's been on for so long, and we're going to bring in the Muslim apologist. Stilett, the StreamYard is not closed. We just give partiality to people who disagree with us. If this is call me skeptical, the more you disagree with us, the higher priority you get and the more time you get. So
that's fair.
And so with that, Mark,
the topic of the type of show it is.
With that, we have been calling me skeptical occasionally about the Abrahamic God. I love you. Send in love. You should be checking out youtube.com/MarkReidAtheism. What are your final thoughts?
Yeah, so I've just interrupted SeaScience when he goes off on some stupid tangent that does nothing to do with anything that we've discussed. If he wants to bring it back to nylon A's, the only time he brought it back was to give some stupid analogy that, if I eat something different, then I've mutated, like I've suddenly changed. No, but you couldn't eat that thing before, so the analogy just doesn't work. It's a false analogy.
I mean, you believe.
Yeah, so if you could just let me have my time to speak, which you seem to be incapable of doing. Yeah, so. SeaSalty is just, he's got a ton of salt over basically people insulting his God and being mean to his God. So he'll do this thing where he'll just fill the air with noise and nobody can have a decent conversation. But this is why he's talking in bad faith, because he doesn't want to have an actual conversation about anything. He wants to just talk and basically stop the conversation. And I mean, to be honest, I do admit I've enjoyed myself immensely. But, that's no way you actually get to communicating and get to the truth. You actually have a conversation where you let the other person speak. And I hope this shows SeaScience why we don't do this to one another, because you don't have a conversation. But he's not interested in the conversation. He's just a troll. So if I could just have my time to speak, thanks, SeaScience. See, he's incapable of shutting his mouth because he doesn't want people to be able to say the truth. He wants to silence them. And that's all this is. He just wants to silence people that disagree with him. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
I didn't kick him. No. Here he is.
Oh, is he back?
Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you so very much, Mark. Lovely having you on as always.
Always a pleasure, Amy. Thank you, James, and thank you, SeaSalty.
Drive crazy, Mark.
Try and
cheeky, baby. I know you're not mad at all or anything. I know how many times you said that must be true. I know you're not mad because how many times you said it, right?
This is fun.
See you, dude. Did he say why I was wrong about nylon A's? No.
But this also,
yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
This is the last